They never believed that you would actually leave. They never thought that the person who gave them countless chances, the person who forgave things that could never be forgiven, the person who silently endured, could walk away and never come back. In the twisted world of narcissistic abuse, your return isn't just a hope, it's something they take for granted. They believe in the guilt you carry, they rely on your compassion. They live with the belief that you will soften, that you will give them one last chance. But when you don't come back, when your silence lasts beyond all their manipulation tactics, that's when the collapse begins. At first, they pretend not to care. Then they distort the story, play the victim, and turn you into the cold, heartless betrayer. But behind that mask, a chaos is slowly spreading. Panic, anger, shame, and the terrifying truth that they've lost control. In this video, you will witness the entire process of a narcissist's inner collapse when you no longer come back. From fake pride, cunning apologies to smear campaigns, and finally, the total breakdown. All of it will be exposed. Watch until the end of the video, because understanding how they collapse is also how you maintain your freedom. And if you're on a healing journey or want to turn knowledge into power, click subscribe now. We will continue forward together. No turning back. Stage 1. Denial. Right after you leave, the narcissist doesn't immediately feel the loss. The first thing they go through is denial, a state of confusion, anger, and self-deception. In their mind, you can't truly let go. You're the one who has always endured, forgiven, and come back despite how many times you were hurt. To them, you are a supply that is predictable and easy to control. They believe that you are still there, that as soon as they want you will return just like always. And because of this, they can't accept the fact that this time you've truly walked away, decisively and in silence. Denial begins with pretending. They act as if nothing has happened, as if you are not important enough for them to care about. They might post happy images, pretend to be joyful, accidentally show up on your social media, or contact people you know to probe. But all of these actions are part of their effort to maintain the illusion that they still control you. They can't accept that you've broken free from the script they carefully constructed. On the outside, they appear indifferent, but inside, they are beginning to spiral into a growing chaos, panic, doubt, and fear that their power is slipping away. As your silence continues, they start testing for a response. They send vague messages like, "I hope you're doing okay," or try to rekindle old memories by liking a picture you once posted. Sometimes they may use someone new to provoke jealousy or make you feel replaced. But don't misunderstand. This is not love, nor is it an apology. It is a manipulative tactic to see if you'll still react. A single message from you, a like, or a bit of attention, is enough for them to feel that they still control you. This is the moment you need to stay alert and stronger than ever. Because when you remain silent, don't react, don't feel jealous, and don't seek closure, that's not just a normal behavior, it's the end of their power. For the narcissist, losing your response means losing the mirror they once used to reflect themselves, losing the distorted belief that they have value through manipulating the emotions of others. You need to remember, your silence is not for revenge, but to protect yourself. You are no longer part of their old drama. You don't need validation from them because you've already validated your own worth through decisive, conscious actions. And that is their greatest fear. Not that you left, but that you no longer wish to come back. The first stage of collapse, denial, is when the mask begins to crack. And that is just the beginning. When they slowly realize that you are truly gone from their frame of reference, when all the games no longer have an effect, the real collapse will begin. But to see that clearly, you must stand firm in your position, in your awareness, in your purposeful silence, and in the self-respect that has been restored. If you feel that this section resonates with what you've gone through, please leave a comment and share your story below. Have you witnessed how the narcissist denied your departure? What did they do to try and bring you back, and what helped you stay strong? Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to not miss the next stages in the stages of Narcissist Collapse video series, because you deserve peace and you no longer have to fight alone. Stage 2. Anger and escalating manipulation. When your silence extends and every signal shows that you are not coming back, the narcissist enters a more dangerous state: anger. But this is not just ordinary anger. It is rage born from a deeply wounded ego. In their distorted world, your daring to leave without any pleading or regret is not just a rejection, it is an insult. You are no longer playing the role of the forgiving one, the one who always comes back, the one who can't live without them, and that infuriates them, not because they love you, but because you've shattered the script they once believed was eternal. They begin to get angry, but in a calculated way. No screaming, no dramatic writhing as seen in movies. Instead, it's a slow escalation of manipulation. They subtly blame you, rewrite the story to make themselves the victim. I tried my best, but you always disappoint me. They turn your departure into evidence that you are heartless, a traitor, cold. And while on the outside they pretend to be suffering, deep inside they are quietly rebuilding the stage. This time with a script full of threats, provocation, and even retaliation. The narcissist may start to talk badly about you to close friends and family. They spread lies, create stories that paint you as the one at fault, not because they believe it, but because they need to restore their social power. They need to blur your image in the eyes of others to hide the shame that they no longer control you. Meanwhile, you might receive vague messages: "I hope you're okay," "I miss you," or even veiled threats: "If you don't respond, I'll disappear forever." All of these are arrows shot to test your reaction. A like, a reply, just a little attention. Enough for them to feel that they still have control over you. And when those tactics fail, they will use their final pawns: family, children, or someone new. They'll show you that they are happy with someone else, or conversely, show you that they are falling apart because they lost you. But don't let the chaos outside fool you. Inside, they are becoming a pile of rubble because you no longer react. And for the narcissist, losing your response means losing the mirror they once used to reflect their distorted ego. There's no one left to manipulate, no one left to make them feel important. And that is their greatest fear. Not that you left, but that you no longer want to come back. Worse, in this stage you are the most vulnerable. Their anger comes with sweet apologies, fake expressions of regret, and promises to change. They will say they've realized their mistakes, that they've changed, that they can't live without you. But stay alert. True remorse takes time, action, and a level of self-awareness that the narcissist doesn't have. What they truly want is not you, but the feeling of control you once provided. This is when you need to keep your boundaries stronger than ever, because just one response, one soft moment, and you will be pulled back into the old cycle, where you were the one apologizing, explaining, and always hoping. But you're not that person anymore. Your silence is not ignoring them, it is a statement, a clear declaration that you've taken back control of your life. That you don't need anyone to validate your worth, that you are no longer living in their script, but you are rewriting your own story. If you've witnessed the escalating anger after you left, remember that it is not proof of love. It's the final spasm of a manipulative system dying. And if you can get through this stage, if you don't react, don't look back, don't seek closure from the person who hurt you, then you've not only escaped them, you have won. Stage 3. The mask shatters. When the anger no longer works, when all manipulation tactics fall into the void of silence, when the old tricks, the new person, the change for you script fails to get a response from you, the narcissist starts to face what they fear the most: themselves. This is the moment when the mask begins to crack, not in front of you, but within themselves. For so long they've lived off the carefully crafted image, strong, likable, the victim, or the hero. But all of these roles only exist when someone else believes in them. And now, with you gone, with no one left to reflect their presence, the false self they've built starts to collapse. This is the stage of disorder. They become erratic, lost, confused between the roles they once embodied. One moment they pretend to regret and miss you. The next moment they get angry, sarcastic, or try to attack you through others. They spin in circles of emotional chaos, unable to understand why a loyal supply like you could disappear. They cannot accept that you no longer comply, no longer react, and no longer believe in the mask that once made you swoon. The truth is, this mask was not designed to withstand rejection. It only operates well when there is agreement, when you are still playing along. Once you no longer believe in the old story, it loses its power, and at that moment, the narcissist also loses their means of existence. They no longer know who they are. They do not have a real self, only dozens of masks that change depending on the audience. When you leave, they lose not only you, they lose a part of their fake identity that they relied on to define themselves. At this stage, you may see them act strange. On one hand, they try to appear fine, posting pictures, smiling, living as though it doesn't matter that you're gone. On the other hand, you may hear about them through others, how they say you are terrible, how they were hurt by you, how they just want to be loved the right way. But don't be fooled. These words don't come from suffering due to losing love. They are the echoes of an ego cracking, desperately trying to hold on to the last image of power, that they are the ones who were hurt, not the ones who caused the pain. Some narcissists may react by temporarily withdrawing, not because they accept defeat, but to create a controlled absence, hoping that you'll start to doubt, feel the void, and automatically come back. But if you remain silent, if you stay firm, if you don't reach out to them, then the most authentic moment will come. They will see their own failure. And this is the thing they never dare face, because in their eyes, failure is not something that can be fixed. It is destruction. It is proof that they no longer have power, no longer attractive, no longer the center of the universe for anyone. And for someone without a true self, the feeling of being forgotten is even more terrifying than death. You may see them come back one more time, this time with desperation disguised as confidence. They may pretend that they are doing well, that they are in love with someone new, or that they've forgiven you. But in reality, this is their last mask being thrown, hoping that you will feel regret, jealousy, or at least react. Just one reaction, whether it's anger or indifference, is enough for them to feel that they still exist in your world. But if you keep silent, if you don't let that final mask move your heart, the collapse will become permanent. Not everyone gets to witness this moment, when the narcissist has nowhere left to hide. But if you've seen the emptiness in their eyes, the coldness behind their beautiful words, and the panic behind what seemed like controlled behavior, then you've seen the true face they've hidden their whole life. And the most important thing, you didn't get pulled back in. You held your ground. You refused to be the reflection of a false self. You refused to be dragged into an endless play. If you've made it to this stage, be proud, because you didn't just leave, you removed the mask of a deceiving system through your own awareness. Stage 4. Desperation and complete inner collapse. When the mask can no longer hold up, when all psychological games fail, when they can no longer manipulate you with lies, threats, or fake acts of regret, that is when true desperation begins. The narcissist no longer has anything to cling to. They can no longer control your emotions. They no longer find any reaction from you. And this is when they must face their greatest emptiness. For the narcissist, emptiness is what they fear the most. They live for the admiration, the indifference of others, and the feeling of always having power. When these things disappear, when there is no one left to manipulate, they have nothing to hold on to. There is no one to validate their worth, no one to reflect their false self. They look at the world around them and realize a painful truth. They are nothing but themselves, and they do not know who they are when there is to define their worth. When you don't come back, when you don't react even once, the narcissist realizes something they never thought would happen. They can't change you, they can't break you, and they can't control you the way they once did. And that is when they begin to collapse, not in front of you, but within themselves. They cannot face this failure. For them, losing power is not just a defeat in a relationship, it is the collapse of the very ego they have spent years building. When all their tricks no longer work, they may fall into a state of deep despair. Some narcissists will become self-destructive. They may drown in alcohol, drugs, or self-harming behaviors to cope with the inevitable pain. They are no longer the strong, arrogant figures they once were. Now they are consumed by the sense of worthlessness they have long suppressed. Others may become cruel and vengeful. They begin to find ways to repay what they consider injustice, but this only increases their desperation. Their acts of revenge are not really about regaining power, but are efforts to convince themselves that they can still control something, even if it's just your reaction. They don't realize that these actions only make them look weaker and more pathetic than ever. Desperation leads to total collapse. When all the tricks are exhausted, when the mask is shattered, and when they realize they can no longer manipulate you, the narcissist faces a terrifying fear. They cannot save themselves. There is no one there to reflect their distorted self, no one to serve as a tool, no one to make them feel important anymore. They stand there empty with a broken ego and have no idea what to do next. When the narcissist realizes they can't return to the play, they will start looking for a replacement, someone they can control, someone they can manipulate. They will try to start a new relationship, hoping that the replacement will give them back the sense of power they once had. But the truth is, the new person will never replace you. They will never find the same sense of control they had with you, because they cannot build a genuine relationship. What they need is just a tool to reflect their false ego. This is the worst point a narcissist can go through, the realization of their own meaninglessness. They cannot escape the truth that they have lost power, lost themselves, and now must face themselves. And for someone who has always lived in deception, this is a psychological shock so great that it is almost unbearable. So, what will you do during this stage? Confronting the collapse of a narcissist is not an easy task. You may feel some regret, some empathy for them. But remember, this is when true freedom comes to you. There is no shame in seeing their collapse. It is simply the inevitable consequence of the path they have chosen. Don't go back. Don't let them pull you into that painful cycle again. This is the time for you to move forward. Don't let these manipulators take control again. Your freedom is not something that needs to be granted. You've earned it through your own steadfastness and awareness. If you've ever witnessed this despair in the narcissist's journey, please leave a comment and share your story. How did you witness their collapse? How did you hold your ground? Be sure to subscribe to follow the final stage. Stage 5. Accepting the truth and complete liberation. Stage 5. Accepting the truth and complete liberation. When all the games have ended, when all manipulation tactics have failed, and when you finally realize that you have not only escaped from a person, but also from emotional dependence on a blind system, you enter the stage of liberation. This is the moment when you must face the painful yet liberating truth that you have lived in a web of illusions where both you and the narcissist played roles. But in understanding and accepting this truth lies freedom. Everything you've been through, sleepless nights, silent tears, fragments of your self-esteem, eventually becomes the stepping stones that lead you to a powerful awakening. Dr. Laura Berman, the renowned psychologist specializing in relationships, said, "When you realize that you were never the only one in that relationship, you will feel relief. Your invaded ego will begin to heal, and you will realize that nothing is more important than re-establishing your own boundaries and identity. Accepting this truth is not easy. It is an unending liberation, a painful yet freeing journey. For when you realize that your relationship with the narcissist was just a manipulative drama you never needed to participate in, you step out of their shadow. You are no longer the victim. You are the one who controls your own story. But to truly liberate yourself, you must understand one important thing. There is nothing in your life that the narcissist can take back. Dr. Robert Hare, a criminal psychologist and expert on narcissistic personalities, once emphasized, narcissists don't know what true love is. They understand the power of manipulating others, but they never truly understand empathy or unconditional love. When you let go, you not only escape a relationship, you escape an endless cycle of manipulation. They are not just people who hurt you, they control you through manipulation. But once you let go, you have completely taken back control of your life. You are no longer the victim in their power games. You have completely separated yourself from the cycle of pain they tried to keep you in. This stage, though painful, is the most crucial moment in your healing journey. It's the time when you realize that you no longer need to apologize for leaving, no longer need to seek an explanation, no longer need to wait for their forgiveness, because ultimately you are the one who gave yourself permission to be free. Accepting the truth is a process of liberation. Not only the acceptance that they cannot change, but also the acceptance that you cannot change them. And it is precisely when you no longer need them that you become completely free. In this moment, relief begins to flow. You no longer worry about whether they will come back, no longer wait for them to drag you into a new game. They are no longer the most important person in your life story. You are the one at the helm. And more importantly, you realize that your freedom doesn't need to be given permission. It is a natural right that you can claim at any time. When you truly liberate yourself from the narcissist's influence, that's when you step into a new stage of your life, self-mastery. You not only regain your self-respect, but you also begin to rebuild a life that you fully control. And that is the final liberation. A liberation not only from the narcissist, but also from the manipulated self, from the broken pieces you've left along the painful journey. Remember, you've gone through the harshest stages. You fought and overcame the challenges. No one can take away your freedom, and now you deserve to reclaim your life. If you feel that this story has helped you, don't hesitate to share it and click subscribe to not miss the upcoming videos on your healing journey. You no longer fight alone. You are free. This journey has not been easy, and not everyone has the strength to face the truth. The truth that a relationship with a narcissist is not true love but a power game full of manipulation. The truth that you have been pulled into a never-ending play where you are never allowed to be yourself, just a tool to serve their distorted ego. But it is from facing this truth that you have been reborn, stepping into a completely new phase of your life, the phase of true freedom. Throughout this journey, you have had to face deep emotional wounds, feelings of loneliness that can't be put into words, and uncertainty about yourself. You were manipulated, deceived, and once believed you couldn't live without the narcissist, but you were wrong. And it is this mistake that opened a new door, the door leading to eternal liberation. Liberation from the narcissist is not just about leaving a toxic relationship. It is the act of self-affirmation, stepping out of the darkness to find the light. When you realize that you don't need their approval, you step into a new phase of life, the phase of self-mastery. You are no longer someone who reacts the way they want, no longer a victim of their lies and the plays they set up. You have refused to participate in a story that you could never script for yourself. You have rewritten that story yourself. And through this process, you have learned an invaluable lesson about yourself. You are stronger than you think. You may have felt weak in moments of challenge, but those were the moments that helped you discover the strength hidden within you. Your resilience is not just shown by how you overcame the pain, but by how you never return to those old wounds. You've found your self-respect, your confidence, and once again you've learned how to love yourself the right way. Just like what Dr. Laura Berman, a renowned psychologist specializing in relationships, said, the healing process begins with accepting the truth about ourselves and the person we had to part ways with. It's not about going back to a relationship, but about finding ourselves in the silence and self-awareness. You've done that. You accepted the truth that the narcissist could never love you the way you deserve, and you chose to free yourself from that painful cycle. And as Dr. Robert Hare, an expert in criminal psychology and narcissistic personality research, once said, the key to escaping the manipulation of a narcissist is to never allow them to occupy space in your mind. If you continue thinking about them, they will continue to control you. But when you realize that you don't need them to define your worth, you will find the strength to walk away and never come back. And you, with your perseverance and determination, have done that. You found strength in your own silence. However, your journey doesn't end here. Liberating yourself is not just a moment. It is a continuous process. You have left a toxic relationship, but you still need to rebuild your life from the broken pieces. It's a difficult task, but also an opportunity to build a stronger future, one free from the shadows of the past. And you can absolutely do it, because you have proven that you are capable of facing the greatest challenges and overcoming them. Always remember that you deserve to be loved the right way. You are not a tool, you are not a pawn in someone's power game. You are a person of great value, capable of creating the life you desire, with healthy, free, and loving relationships. And though the road ahead may not be easy, remember that you are never alone. This community is always here, standing by your side, supporting you in every step. The end of this journey does not mean you are free from pain, but it is a new beginning, starting from loving yourself, from restoring your self-belief, and from rebuilding the life you truly deserve. Never forget that you are stronger than you think. If you feel that this video has helped you, please leave a comment and share your story below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos in this healing journey. You never have to fight alone. Let's continue on the path of freedom and love together.